All right, next up, I'd like to introduce Karam Kaur. Karam is a DevOps consultant with 3 years of experience. She loves to automate things, and she comes with a background setting up a cloud infrastructure, creating CI/CD flows, securing pipelines, as well as working on monitoring and observability. Currently, Karam is an active consultant with Bitovi and finds pride working on StackStorm, BitOps, and all of Bitovi's GitHub actions. If you haven't checked those out, definitely check those out. After work, she loves to watch movies and bake delicious cakes and cookies. And also loves reading books about all kinds of subjects from philosophy to spirituality to healthy lifestyle and food. I need some of those to add to my fake bookshelf behind me. As everyone knows, these are all fake books. I don't know how to read. All right, Karam, floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, everyone. So yeah, today we'll talk about how to create packs using a StackStorm. And the agenda for today will be introduction on what is StackStorm. Then we'll walk through on the components of StackStorm. We will have a short demo on how StackStorm works, and finally how Bitovi can help. So yeah, let's start with what is StackStorm. It's basically an event-driven platform for integrating and automating different services. For example, now if we have any event, any alarm, any event or any alarm that triggers, and in response to that, if we want to take certain actions to resolve the issue, we have some manual steps and man intervention needed. But with StackStorm, as soon as the alarm is detected, there can be some automation that will be in process, and issue will be resolved within very less time and with maybe no or very less man intervention. So yeah, this is what StackStorm's purpose is: to reduce time, to automate stuff, to integrate the things so that there can be a less man intervention. So now let's talk about what are the components of StackStorm. The very basic component of StackStorm is pack. It's kind of a directory which contains action, workflow, rules. And what does these terms means? We can see it from here, from the anatomy. On the left side, we have a trigger, and on right side, we have action. Whenever there is any trigger, which is kind of an event, in response to that, a particular action or a chain of action will be invoked that will do our desired resolution or remediation. And if we want to apply certain conditions, certain criteria that on that particular criteria we want to invoke the action, we specify those criteria in the rules. So maybe we can start with the example of rules here to make more sense. So here we have an example. Let's say we have a webhook event. Sorry about that. Webhook event triggered on this URL. And we want to trigger our action, this particular action in response to that event. But we also want that a particular criteria should be matched before this action is invoked. So we define that in this particular event, if this value is matching to this pattern, only then this action should be invoked. And when this action should be invoked, if there is any input parameters that we need to provide, we provide those in the parameters. So let's see the actions now. What are the actions? So basically for the action, we can categorize it into two parts. One is the action metadata, where we define what will this action contain and where it will refer for the actual piece, where actual piece of code is written for automation. And another part of action is a workflow directory where the actual piece is residing. So maybe we can have a better idea from the examples. So here I have an example of the action metadata file. So you can see that we are defining the name of our action. And then in StackStorm, we have separate runner type. We have a runner type for Python, if it's a Python script, shell, if it's a shell script, and if our actions are involving lots of sequence of different action, very complex workflow, then by StackStorm, we have a orchestra work engine. that we can use. And then in entry point, we specify the path of our file where the actual automation is residing. And parameters are just the input parameters, and we define the schema that if this particular parameter is mandatory, what will be the type of it, if it will be a secret or not. So now let's go into this entry point and see how does it look like. So this is the workflow, the actual piece where our actual workflow will run. So you can see here we are telling that for this particular action, we want two tasks to be happen. One is just printing the echo message, and as soon as this is succeeded, we are printing our result to. So publish means if we want to pass our result from one action to the another action. So here we are publishing it, and this task 2 will take greeting as an input here, and then task 2 can make use of this variable results. So finally, this is like a chaining of the two actions. So this is one very basic sample kind of a workflow, and maybe from the demo it will be more clear, but I have an example here as well. So for example here, let's say we want to reach out to this resolution. We want a notification for something to complete or something to fail. And this involves a lot of sequence of actions. You can see we are putting some conditions as well, that if the result is this action should be invoked. If the result is different, this particular action should be invoked. All this complex chart is called a workflow actually. So this is the main component, but we still have two main components of the StackStorm. One is the configuration schema, where we define the schema for all our configuration related items. For example, if any API keys are needed, if any URLs needed, username, everything, the schema will be defined in the schema file. However, the actual configuration will reside at the configuration file, which is always residing at this path. So we define if there is any URL, any key, actual path. We for the secret, we can take a dynamic as well as static. And in today's demo, we'll be showing how we can create a Jira ticket using StackStorm. So we will be storing our URL for the Jira, username, password, everything in this file. So yeah, with this, maybe we can kick off our demo. Finally, I hope you guys can see my Visual Studio Code. So here I already have a very basic demo pack for the mock Jira, and we can quickly walk through of some of the code piece here. So in the pack.yaml, it contains the metadata for the pack. And here this one thing is very important. If in this pack, we are making use of another pack, then we define that in the dependencies. And in today's pack, I'm making use of the Jira pack from the StackStorm Exchange community. So from StackStorm Exchange community, we have many packs that could be very helpful, and we can always make use of that. And another main thing is now the action that we were talking about a lot. Let's see how it works. So we have this metadata file where we are defining the runner type as orchestra, and our entry point will be workflow create issue.yaml. We'll look into that in a moment. And all these are the parameters or the input that we need to invoke that action. And in this action, let's go. This is the actual piece. This will do our actual work. So all these are the input fields, and our action is Jira.createIssue. So this Jira is the dependency that we defined in the pack.yaml. And from Jira pack, we want to invoke the create issue action. And all these are the input summaries. And as soon as this is finished, what we want next, we can define it into the next field. Finally, we are outputting the result here. And if you want to see what is in the Jira.createIssue, you can go to StackStorm Exchange community pack here, and you can explore. It's basically a Python script, but they have like many, it's the Python script. So I just made use of it. Similarly, we can make use of something from here, or we can create our own script as well. So yes, let's install a pack here. So the command is st2 pack install, and then the name of the pack that we want to give, and from which URL we are taking the piece of code. And yeah, also I forgot to mention, we can install pack or we can make any changes in the configuration from user interface as well. So yeah, pack has been installed. Let's go to user interface and see how does it look like. So you can see in the history, we can see that pack has been installed, and on right side you can see the output that successfully pack has been installed, and whatever the input we provided, it will be shown here. Let's see in actions, do we see our action? So it was mock Jira action, and we can see our action here. So let's see if it actually creates a ticket or not. Just ticket. Let's create a bug maybe. These are not the mandatory field, but just to make it separate, you can provide any labels, but it's not a mandatory field. So yeah, that's it. And let's run it and see what does it give. And you can see it's successful, and this is the output here. And in the output, we can see a ticket has been created on this URL. Yeah, here. So that is it. It's as simple as that. But this was very, very basic flow. We can have very complex actions, integrations. Yeah, so with that, our demo comes to end. And if you have any questions or any doubt, please reach out to Bitovi StackStorm community page and book a free consultation. We will be really willing to help you. Yeah, thank you.